When it comes towards content, it's something that every sales professional should be utilizing, but doing it the right way is important. On this episode, we're going to let you on a little secret of what you can do to make sure you're using content to fill your pipeline. Check it out. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode is something that I truly love. I had an opportunity to bring back Gabe Lullo on the podcast. Now, Gabe actually he works over at an awesome organization, the CEO of a company called Alleyoop. And Alleyoop, what they do essentially is like they help you to get those opportunities with those major organizations. They will help you to land the appointments and you come in and close the deal. Amazing stuff. But one of the things that Gabe has done is actually utilize content as a means to generate appointments. It's really fascinating what they're doing. They focus on BDR work, on prospecting, but they're still using content to generate pipeline. Listen to how he does that. And this is phenomenal. If this is your first time listening to the show, it's designed to help you to 3 to 5x your sales pipeline and to close twice as many deals. We're going to give you content and ideas that can best help you to do so. As we dive in, you get a chance to learn a little bit about Gabe, as well as his organization, but specifically how they're taking advantage of content. Check it out. Gabe, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Donald. Thanks for having me again. We had a blast on the first go around, and I'm excited to be back here and talk more about some cool things with you.
100%. For those who may not have communicated or listened to that episode, and we'll put a link down in the show notes, but tell us a little bit more about what you guys do.
Yeah, so CEO of Alleyoop. Alleyoop is a world leader in sales development and prospecting. So we don't do the sales for you. We do the front end of the sales cycle. We use various channels, phone being pretty much our primary way of communicating, but we use all the other channels to support that conversation. And our focus simply is to get more at-bats for our clients so they can drive revenue.
Love it. Now, speaking about getting more at-bats and using the tools that you have at your disposal, one of those tools that you and I are both fond of is LinkedIn. And even beyond that, just the idea of creating content. And I want to exploit that a little bit, see if there's things we can dissect from that conversation that can help BDRs, SDRs, and sales organizations as a whole. You're passionate about it. Why you feel content is so important for sales?
Well, I think I'm a great case study because I didn't feel that way. And I never spent much time on LinkedIn other than kind of finding people and searching people and seeing where people work to really drive demos for myself. But there was a time a couple of years ago where I wasn't the CEO of this company. I was more the operator and running the business from a logistical standpoint. I just didn't have any need or desire to be on LinkedIn. When I took over the CEO spot, that of course changed as the face of the company. And so we invested heavily about a year ago into content with LinkedIn. And right now, impressions year over year is like over 100,000%, which is insane. But of course,
Crazy.
Starting from crickets, right? So when you start from zero, anything's good. But it's been really dramatic. And we've been tracking the results, and it's been company-wide that we've all been doing this initiative. It hasn't been sitting just in my seat. And right now, we are seeing so much volume from new business coming from content and content-related activities, in addition to our bread and butter, which is outbound. It has been dramatic, and we are investing into it dramatically because of the results we're seeing. So it's all data-driven with us.
So there's two parts you mentioned there. You said content, directly from the content, and then content-driven activities. If you don't mind, just elaborate on that.
Yeah. Here's our position. If you do a search on LinkedIn and put in SDR, sales development rep, you're going to see over 850,000 results.
Yep.
We also aren't even looking at BDRs. We're not even looking at all the other names we call ourselves as SDRs when we're really, you know what I mean, right? Those account managers, strategic development rep. Like, so we come up with all these interesting names for the role. But at the end of the day, when you start really aggregating and totaling up those titles, you're over 1 million SDRs actively on LinkedIn right now. So my point is that we are really arming our SDRs and our clients' SDRs, more importantly, with content so they can go ahead and leverage it, and they can go ahead and use it to schedule meetings, to get at bats going, to get prospects happening. We're helping our clients drive content as well. So it's not just about the CEO posting these things. It's about the SDR using that content that the CEOs are posting to drive those results and to get the actual rubber meets the road meetings on the calendar.
So let's go. So let's. I'm tactically thinking about this now. If I'm
Okay.
an executive in an organization, or I'm a sales leader, listen to this, because and I think I want to poke the bear a little bit. You mentioned you didn't do it before. Was it because you didn't feel that it was effective, or do you felt that it wasn't needed?
Well, it was twofold. As an agency, really, it was always about our client's brand. So we're behind the scenes. You know what I mean? We are white labeling our reps. So the reps that are making the calls on behalf of our client, they don't know they're Alleyoop reps. So we just always stood behind the scenes. And also, we really just drank our own Kool-Aid. Everything we were doing was based on our own outbound function to get results. And then once we started seeing other things in the market, yourself included, all the content that has been being created on these amazing podcasts, we're like, let's test this out and see and start looking at this deeper. And we did a test. It was a very, short test, only a couple posts a month. And we did it for about 90 days and we started getting results. And then we doubled down and it started exponentially occurring. So that's why we started it this year.
What were some of the results you saw initially?
Well, people reaching out. I think the first initial result was credibility and trust. It
Hmm.
wasn't leads were just dumping in, from a, Mack truck onto your driveway, right? It was,
Dang it, I ain't
yeah,
doing
it,
it
it
anymore.
doesn't happen that way. It takes time. But here's what did happen immediately. You come into a demo, our sales team comes into a demo, and it's not about us having to spend the first 7 to 10 minutes telling us who we are, trying to sell them why we're great, talking about like why they should trust us. The trust factor was completely through the roof and already happens before you even get on the call. So it's more tactical. So those meetings, instead of a 45-minute demo, it's a 30-minute demo. We can get as much as you would expect done, even more, because we're going right into it. It's like, what can you do for me? And how is it that you can help me grow, as opposed to why should I even like look at what you are and what are you all about? So the trust factor, I would say, is the immediate result from creating the content.
Do you so let's go into this idea. So you said trust factor, but then you do your BDRs, and then you also mentioned you saw appointments or business
Yeah.
come from those that content.
I'll be frank with you, Don, and I'll say it on this call. Last month is our biggest month in the history of our company, last
Come
15
on,
years.
man, let's
Okay.
go.
But I also will say half of our new deals were sourced from content related activities, and the other half was from straight outbound. So the reason why we doubled was not just because of our outbound activities, which have definitely increased, but because of the content that's been layered on top of it.
All right. So I think you answered the next question, because this is where you got some people that feel this either like oil and vinegar, but it's not. You're because I was gonna say, bro, are you putting yourself out of business here by talking about, are you messing it up? Should we stop the episode? But no,
No,
but
no, here's the deal. Like, I don't
yeah,
think we're putting ourselves, the reality is people are going to come to us because they know what we're doing. And that's what's
yeah,
happening. People are coming to us because they know what we're doing. I mean, that's the whole point of content, right?
yeah.
And so, we're bringing in marquee clients, massive, massive billion-dollar names are coming to us to run their SDR function. And it's all because of the content. So that's been great. And you just have to look at it. We've always looked at phone, we've looked at email, but we looked at LinkedIn as a channel. But what really have we looked at when it comes to LinkedIn? I think what people think of when it comes to LinkedIn is sending out spam direct messages to people. That's not a channel. Okay. It's actually a broken channel because it's not working anymore.
Yeah.
So the reality is if you want LinkedIn to truly be a channel, which we feel like it should be, and it is, there has to be content related activities that are happening on the front foreground to have those SDRs come in the background and execute on the day to day.
So this falls into what there's a philosophy that I have, which really I feel help with our outbound, and I think you just validated it. Is this idea, and some people call it different names, but the activity that I do from my business standpoint, if I'm going to my email, I'm going in first and I'm deleting stuff that I don't know, and then I go into the people that I do know. And it helped me as I started looking at this behavior that I was doing. I asked some of our clients and I started realizing that's a common behavior. So therefore, my emails outreach, I need to have some kind of basis points or that connection, the credibility, as you said, before it makes it easier for somebody to open my email or have that answer that phone call or to continue that dialogue. And it's not that it's impossible because we do it, but it's like it's more effective. And what you're saying, you're layering, you're having the Air Force go out first with content, layer the ground, prepare for the ground troops when they do come.
Yes.
It's more effective. Come on, man.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the situation. People
Yeah.
call them channels, and I don't like do it. I just say because everyone knows it as that. But that's what
Yeah.
they treat it. They treat it as separate channels. There's actually agencies out there right now, Donald, that have different people doing the different channels. And how much
Silly.
of a mess is that? Like you have responders, you have callers, you have LinkedIners, right? And then that's what happens when you know how it happens, right? You get an
Yeah.
email from someone you just booked it and did a demo with 2 weeks ago. Why are they still prospecting you? I just happened to me today. I got a message asking for a demo. I literally said, we are already in the buying journey with your technology, which we are. And so it's like, because there's separate channels, it's not like that. I call it just layering.
Yeah.
It's all interconnected. Just like you said, like war, like an assault, right? It's about winning the war. Yeah, you
Yeah.
got the Air Force, you got the Army, you got the Marines, you have all these different channels or departments of the armed forces, but the end of the game is about winning the war. And what's the war is getting those people in front of you. That's it. And
Yeah.
so at the end of the day, like you have to layer it in. And so that's what we have to do. Our reps are full cycle. They manage the email channel, they manage the phone, they manage the LinkedIn. It's all under one rep. It's all dedicated. And so there's not that, why are you calling me? I just got a demo with you 2 weeks ago type of scenario. But at the end of the day, yes, it's about layering in those ways to communicate.
So this idea too of the content, let's do the last little bit here. So I think we stressed and established the importance of this. It's not a matter of anymore, does the content work? Content does work. I mean, I have a business, you have a business. We have two organizations because of content. What content should my SDRs, BDRs should be engaged in, or who in my organization should be the facilitator behind this? Because as a sales lead, I'm sure she's listening right now and saying, I ain't got time. So talk to
You
me. You
mean,
got it.
just to clarify, who should be creating the content for the company?
Yeah. Who should be creating content? Who should be posting content?
Well, let me ask you a question back. Who's the most credible person in the company?
CEO.
So that's what I think should happen. And so I think it should absolutely be top down, and the people who are the best at it. Now, no offense to any of the CEOs out there. I know a lot of them that are very introverted programmers. They're the ones who created the software. They're the developers, right? Maybe
Yeah.
you don't like being in front of the camera. Maybe it's not a great idea to be a writer. I appreciate that. But who, one, is the best at it? And two, who has the most credibility when actually writing it and saying it and putting it out there? I
Yeah.
think that's the order in which you have to look at it. If you're good at it, you're passionate about it, you're excited about it, trust me, I was very uncomfortable before I got on my first video or podcast. Very uncomfortable. Now it's like normal. It's like riding a
Right.
bike. But that's everything. So is it worth it? Yeah. The point though is the credibility. And
Yeah.
so if one of my SDRs can send over a newsletter that I have to a potential prospect on LinkedIn, say, hey, I saw your post. It really resonated with the newsletter that my CEO just released last week. Take a look at it. Don't know if it's right for you, but if it is, love to start a conversation. Would you agree that that's a better dialogue for an SDR than them just saying, hey, do you want a meeting for 15 minutes?
Of course, because
100%.
it's something
And
that
that's,
you, yeah.
yeah, that's it, man.
It's something that the executive shared that must be important. But the other part to that too, I use this as another sense of validation. At Inbound last year, HubSpot
Yeah.
CEO from the stage said 44% of executives said that they discover new solutions through social media. 44, and the behavior has adjusted from search, which is like, let me go Google it. They're trusting colleagues, they're trusting industry experts, they're trusting content to be able to provide that. 44%. I thought that was a pretty gnarly number
Yeah,
in our
and it's
data.
even layered underneath that more because you're absolutely right. It's almost like that dark web, right? That
Yeah,
those groups, those Slack groups, those Slack channels that executives are a part of. They trust their colleagues in the communication. Well, I'm in a lot of those groups, and I can tell you in those groups, they're doing is sharing LinkedIn stuff in there when people are asking questions, right? Like who's the best dialer in the world? Who's the best data company in the world? Well, I just saw this really cool article. Let me share with you. And it's a LinkedIn article in the Slack channel, and it's organically being asked, and then goes right from there. So that's how it looks.
Bro, game is changing. Last little bit here. The type of content that I should share. Any suggestions on that? If you're an executive, somebody's listening to this and they're thinking, I want to start doing this. What do I
Yeah,
start with?
I just launched a newsletter about a month ago. We're over 2,000 followers, I think, right now. So again, only a few of them went out. So I think the newsletter is really fun if you want to get long form and really get deep into the weeds. I didn't start there. I started with just simple text posts. And then I noticed, okay, maybe I should do some video. And video by far to me is the most effective. It
Yeah,
gets the most amount of impressions. It gets the most amount of engagement. It gets the most amount of feedback. And it's visually the one that allows you to keep you on that post. So the algorithm will send you more because you're sticking on that post longer, because the video is obviously longer to watch. So that's what we like. We like posting videos. Our company right now is posting 18 video posts a week right now. And we're
the
a small
company
agency.
page.
No, all of the leaders. So we've enrolled others. So our
Yeah,
sales executives, which are our account AEs, they're called growth directors here. They're posting every week. My recruitment team is now posting every week. My chief operating officer is posting every week. I'm posting every day. So we've also really brought in an amazing recruitment effort because of this. We stopped spending any money on Indeed. We used to spend thousands of dollars on Indeed every month. ZipRecruiter, nothing against these companies. They were great for us for years, but we stopped investing thousands of dollars in both of those and other career pages and tools. We now just create content on LinkedIn, and SDRs come to us every minute of every day asking to work here.
that's dope, man. If somebody's on the fence thinking about this, what would you share with them when it comes towards the team using content?
Get comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? Gary V, he's controversial, but if you looked at what he started with, like the Wine Library TV and his first initial videos, he talks about this a lot when creating content. Like, it was bad. I posted something on my LinkedIn with Mr. Beast. He was talking about how his first videos were unwatchable, right? Like, they were horrible. Like, it's okay. You can always delete those videos a year from now, right?
Yeah.
So that just get at it and start creating some stuff and do the things you're doing, man. I follow you all the time, and do what you're doing.
I love it, man. Well, this has been amazing. If folks want to get connected with you to learn about what you guys are doing at Alleyoop, or to learn about any, just connect with you or pick your brain about content, what's the best way for them to go about doing so? I have an idea where that place is, but
I think over the last 30 minutes, we realized that it's definitely LinkedIn. Yeah. So LinkedIn, shoot me a note. I'm hyper responsive. Send me a direct message, and we'll start chatting.
Gabe, appreciate you coming on the podcast, man. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
man. It's great to see you.
Man, wasn't that amazing? I'm telling you, the stats that he was pouring out, man, it got me thinking. And this is why I stress for all of you, you need to create content. I'm not saying you go out there and become an influencer and try to, do all that kind of stuff when create TikTok videos, but you still need to be able to create content. Things that your ICP are going to find interesting. 44%. I always share this one. 44% of executives state that they are that they're discovering new solutions from platforms like LinkedIn. So go ahead and check it out. I'd love to be able to help you. If you have questions around content, just let me know. As always, check out my guests, check out Gabe and some of the cool things that they're doing. I want you to thrive. I want you to find more of your ideal customers. I want you to raise the level of thinking. I want you to go out and do big things. See you in the next one.